What do you like about camp so far?
I mean, it's been good. I mean, I love camp. It's just a month of just, spending time with your teammates and being around each other 24/7 and getting to play football. And, it's hot, but, it's easy to get lost and, it's hot and this is tough. But, I mean, anybody would, dream of being out here, and we get that opportunity. So it's been, just keeping our head down and pushing through all the heat and all the adversity that comes our way. But I love camp, and I think we've done a really good job of embracing that. So.
What do you like about this year's offense? Kind of talking to Perk, it seems like you guys are taking the fight in different ways to the defense.
Yeah, I think we're a very, very close-knit group. I think we've really meshed together, very, very well from the spring to summer to now. And it's 3 weeks until the game. There's not much time left, and I think we've done an outstanding job coming together, kind of establishing our identity of who we want to be. I think we're going to be explosive and very physical, and it's going to be something that's fun to watch. So.
This is probably a repeat question from the spring, but coming in the fall, knowing you're the guy, do you notice or feel anything different in practice?
I mean, obviously there's a different dynamic, going from being a backup to the starter. But, I feel like, it's just taking the same approach that I've always taken, just trying to lead, be vocal, be an uplifting spirit, keep the guys going. It gets tough out there, it gets hot out there. We just got to push through, focus on our work and focus on our job. Coach Sloan's talking a lot about being intentional with everything we do, and having integrity and being focused. Locked in focus is something he says all the time. So that's been the biggest thing for us, is just staying focused on our jobs, staying focused on our tasks, and moving as one.
Garrett, anybody that's out there practice could tell that this tight end room could be pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you like about those guys? What do you expect from them here in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, they've done an unbelievable job. Pimp and Tradez and Mason, obviously. Mason's done a really good job of kind of showing, the younger guys the way. And they've done a really good job of listening and coming along. They're all producing at a very high level. Obviously, it's a very, very talented room. They all are very special in their own way. And, I would say, they're going to get utilized and used the right way. So I'm very proud of them and the way they've come along. I'm very proud of Mason and the way he's led them and kind of been that older guy, that veteran guy in the room, and kind of showed them the way, showed them the ropes. And I think they've done a really, really good job so far.
You got a pretty young wide receiver room, of course, outside of Lacey and Hilton. But how have the younger guys kind of been stepping up this camp and performing? Because obviously they're going to have a bigger role this season.
Yeah, I mean, the whole entire wide receiver room has done an outstanding job this summer. Just as far as, how close they became. It's a different group, guys that didn't necessarily get to spend a lot of time together. We got a lot of transfers and things like that. But the younger guys have stepped up a lot. They've kind of, listened to the older guys, and the veteran guys have also done an amazing job. Chris and Kyron, and even CJ. I mean, even though he's, new here, he's played, 4 years, three years, whatever, of college football already. So those are all experienced guys and who've played a lot of snaps. Same with, Xavion. And so they've done an outstanding job of just, meshing together, leaning on each other. They're always trying to get better. They're always competing. And, it makes me feel special, not special, feel good when you have guys out there that can make special plays, and so you just got to give them an opportunity to make plays, put the ball in their hands in space. So.
Your offensive line's so talented, and we always talk about Will and Emery right off the bat. But tell me about Deli. Deli's been around for a long time. What's he like?
Yeah, Deli was actually one of the O-linemen that came into my class. We were class 2021 together. Deli's special. He's started for 3 years now. He's played so many snaps in so many games, been in so many moments. And he's more of a quiet guy, and he's not as necessarily, the outspoken guy, but he does things the right way at all times. He always has a level of intensity, and he's so smart. He always knows what he's doing. He never MAs. He's always on top of his job and his assignment. And he's always willing to do whatever we ask him to do, and so that's something that's so special about Deli. And he's done an unbelievable job so far this camp.
And Miles is another guy that I don't think we talk too much or hear from much, but it's been very, very solid. Talk about, what kind of player he's been for you.
Yeah, Miles done an unbelievable job. He's obviously, a very experienced guy, veteran in that room. And so, the coolest thing I love about that room and what they've been able to do is all those guys, all those veteran guys have brought those, the freshmen. We have so many very, very talented young freshmen in that room, and even the sophomores are very young. And the older guys in that room have really stepped up and kind of, took it upon themselves to not just, have Coach Davis show them the way, but also them. And so they lead by example. And Miles, is a great example of that. You know, he's always on top of the freshmen. He's always making sure he's doing the right thing to show the correct example of what we want, you know, from that position. You know, I think Coach Sloan has really emphasized of what we want our identity of our offense to be, and that starts with being physical up front. And so, you know, I think Miles and the rest of the guys all in that room have done an outstanding job of really establishing that identity of that physicality and that expectation.
How has DJ Chester kind of adjusted to stepping into a situation where he's going to be the starting center?
Yeah, he's done a really good job. You know, obviously it's a challenging position. You know, you're always thinking about different things and making different calls. And so there's a lot on your plate, and you always got to be, you know, on all 10 toes. And I think he's done a really good job of, you know, doing everything he's asked to do. And you know, I'm really excited for him and how he's been able to, you know, continue to get better.
How are the helmet comms working, and how do you try to get it simulated enough in a game-like situation?
Yeah, the helmet comms have been awesome. You know, obviously you still have to make sure you're aware of the signals and things like that. You know, just in case they go out at any moment. But it's definitely an advantage, you know, being able to have that communication with Coach Sloan, and you know, making sure we're in the correct play and running the right thing. And you know, there are also schematic advantages that'll be used that y'all will see eventually with that. So it's been awesome. I think it's a huge help, and it's been really, really good for us.
How do you make a game like?
Yeah, I mean, every rep is just like a game. You know, in a game, you're just taking reps. That's how you have to look at it. In practice, it's the same thing. You know, when we get to move the ball periods, it's the same thing as when we're in scripted periods. You know, you have to do your job and treat every play as if it's game-like. And so I think, you know, it'll be the exact same from practice into the game as far as the headset communication. So.
During the team period, we saw the defense come up with a couple stops. What have you seen from them in camp, and how improved do you believe that unit will be this year?
Yeah, no, they've done an unbelievable job. The biggest thing I think is the leadership that has grown from that side of the ball. They've really stepped up. You know, they've challenged me and they've challenged our offense a lot this camp, and that's good. You know, that's what we wanted. You know, we wouldn't want it to be one-sided. You know, there are mistakes that have been made and learning opportunities because of how good they've played. And so that's, you know, really all you can ask for as a quarterback is to be challenged. And, you know, you have to grow through mistakes. And so, you know, obviously when you have a defense as talented, I feel like, as we do, and I think, you know, people will have to learn to put some respect on our defense. And I think they're going to show that with the swag and the physicality that they're playing with. You know, I think it starts with Coach Baker. You know, he's came in and his scheme, the complexity of it, and, you know, the swagger that he has himself that bleeds into his players. And so, you know, I think they're going to be a really good unit this year. I think y'all will see that soon.
Will the other day came in and echoed what you had said, I guess, a couple months ago. 10 wins isn't good enough anymore. 10 wins gets people fired, this and that. Is that the feeling you feel throughout the team, your teammates? They all feel this way?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, you know, we've been talking about it since spring. You know, we all know that the expectation has been raised. We all know the bar's been raised. We all know, you know, that we aren't okay with just winning 10 wins. Like I've said that before, and Will said it the other day. And, you know, like I've said plenty of times, it's not a result-based, you know, thought process. It's an expectation of how we plan to go about our daily processes. You know, it's about how we want to act, you know, in the meeting room during fall camp, how we want to process what happened on the field, and how can we transfer it over to the next day on the field. You know, it's how we attack each practice, each rep, each set. So that's kind of been our mindset, you know, focusing on the now, but the expectation definitely has been raised.
I don't think we get to talk to you after this, but Saban said you were kind of a dark horse, right? Like somebody. What do you think about that? And obviously, I'm sure you like to be underrated.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It meant a lot to me. You know, I got to spend some time around Coach Saban. You know, when I was really young, my dad was at Alabama. You know, I ran into him a couple times in the building, getting to talk to him and kind of just see how he interacted with his players. You know, I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from that culture. You know, at a very young age. So it meant a lot to me for him to say something like that. And, you know, I thought it was really cool. As far as, you know, do I like being underrated? You know, I really don't care. You know, I'm just focused on doing my job, being the best I can for LSU. That's what matters to me. So.
My question was actually going to be about your dad. How much, I'm sure you talk to him daily, but, like, how much maybe does he help you with the day-to-day, and, like, how much do you try to pick his brain even while he's in camp too?
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, we talk every day, just getting a recap of, you know, I give him a recap of my day, and, you know, a lot of times I get a recap of his day, just talking through different situations. You know, I get to hear so many different stories and different things that, you know, happen in the NFL level. And, you know, he helps me through some of the things that I struggled with that day and things like that. You know, it's great to be able to pick his brain and get to talk to him and also have that relationship. You know, it comes from a place of love and tough love, I would say. You know, so that relationship means a lot to me. And it's built, you know, over the years, just talking through as I've, you know, my knowledge of the game has kind of grown. I've been able to get into kind of deeper conversations with him about, you know, X's and O's and things like that. And so, you know, it definitely it helps a lot.
I don't know if you've been able to kind of pick up on it, but, you know, Harold's over there talking to everybody and laughing, you know, like,
Yeah.
like who is that guy, right? Like, what kind of growth have you seen in him?
Yeah.
And what do you expect from him this year?
Yeah, Perk's done an unbelievable job. He made an unbelievable play today in 2 minutes. That's just who he is. He's a playmaker. You know, and he's got that swag and that confidence, and he knows he's going to make a play, and then he's going to make the play. And so, you know, I've been really proud of Perk and the way he's, you know, stepped up as a leader. You know, and he's really, you know, tried to grow in different areas. And, you know, you can see that on the field. You can see that he's making an effort to do that. And so, at the end of the day, Perk's always going to be Perk, you know, with his swagger and the way he acts. And it's definitely it's been awesome to see.